Meow meow. This is Jaina, JASLYN, meow. Hi. So good to have you here today. As you saw, one of my new shirts is a cat. Meow. I think it's so awesome. I found this at Goodwill. If you haven't gone already, your homework assignment is to go to Goodwill and find some clothes. It's amazing. And try to give back too. Obviously I have a lot of boy clothes to give, so dropped some of those off and picked up some of my own new girl clothes. Alright, that aside, this episode I am going to try to make really short, but it's not going to happen because I'm going to be talking about who I am, because you have no idea who I am. And of course, due to the internet and thingies, I'm not going to give away personal details about myself. Not that I'm very important anyways, so, I mean, nobody should care or should not care, whatever. I will start off by saying I was born named Jason in 1985, so that puts me at 33 years old. I need to, I don't even have an idea of how I'm going to organize this video, so I'll just, start from the beginning. I was a troubled little kid, and I had a lot of, issues, I guess, with stimulation, and I cried a lot. I'm trying to say that. I cried a lot. And I was a happy little boy, fun-loving, cute, but I never really fit in, and I got bullied a lot in childhood. My emotions I have of childhood are very limited to emotional memories, if that makes sense. When you have an intense emotional experience, you will remember it vividly because the amygdala is next door to the hippocampus, and so things with emotional content are stored as with priority. As a teenager, I was dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety, and I was mostly mute. I would hole up in my room and play video games and stay up until 5 a.m. every morning journaling. And I have those journals from that time period, and they're very troubled. I was, dealing with a lot, in addition to gender identity, which I didn't know back then. In my 20s, I took this psychology course in my first semester at college, and the psychology course changed my outlook forever. Specifically, what I remember, Dr. Maslow, he did the hierarchy of human needs, and with humanistic achievement at the very top, when you kind of have this self-actualization moment where everything makes sense and there's peace in the universe. I had that, and I had this realization that I can be the person I want to be, if only I try hard. And I did. I tried hard, and I actually made a lot of progress. Going from mostly mute, avoiding people, crippling social anxiety, to sitting in the front of the class, engaging with other students in the class, engaging with the teacher, him or herself, staying after class, talking theories with the teacher, doing extra credit, destroying the bell curve with my 135% grade score. Yes, that's a humble brag. I did really good in college, but I decided not to go the college route and get into a career and get into more schools for higher education. I just completed junior college, and I moved into my 20s, and the 20s were crazy. It started off at the age of 22 with a crippling depression episode, in which I just simply wanted to die. And that's when gender first came into the picture. I realized I was boy. I was forced to be boy. That I could never be girl. At least so I thought. I didn't know that transitioning was a thing. I've only heard about it in stories relating to accidents happening or something crazy dramatic like that. I just didn't know. I prayed and prayed and prayed for my penis to fall off. I wished and hoped and prayed that chemical castration was a thing because I was so tired of having, male parts, but also tired of having a sex drive, tired of being attracted to women that I would never get. It was very difficult for me. I went back to being mostly mute. So from college at the age of 18 to 22, so 4 years lapsed. I had 4 really good years where I was just kicking ass every which way. Producing as like the number one worker in companies. But I collapsed. I burnt out. That was a defining moment because I was experiencing full-blown gender dysphoria. I had no idea what it was at the time, and I would cry hours. Like, I would keep track of how much snot would fall on the floor when I was just curled up in fetal position, just crying and snotting everywhere. I was in a sad place. And then some friends invited me out. They're like, hey, let's go get some drinks. You need to get out of the house. Like, let's find a girl for you or something. And I joined them, and I did have those drinks, and the drinks really helped. And I felt like, oh, I could be myself, and I'm not hindered. And I repeated that, going out with friends, either having drinks or no drinks, but I always looked forward to those because they helped me. I dated a few more women who were amazing. All of them were amazing women. I had 12 girlfriends-ish. I mean, I'm counting loosely. Some of them might not be considered girlfriends, but I'll just say girlfriend. I had 12 girlfriends, either romantic interests or girls who were friends on a serious level. And each and every one of those relationships is so valuable and sacred to me, even now, all those years later. Because those women served as examples of the kind of woman I wanted to become. And you've probably heard that before. Do I want to be with her or do I want to be her? For me, it was both. I was romantically interested in all these women. My feelings for them were valid. But I also wanted to be like them because I loved aspects of their personality. And it's who I am right now is a compilation of all of those aspects that I admired in others. So it's really cool how it came full circle all this time later. Then I had this really bad breakup. And I will tell you this story really quick. I was in a very serious relationship, and my roommate at the time was selling pills under the table for his grandma, because his grandma had intense pain and she was given hardcore drugs, both Norco and Oxy. And it was his job to sell them at $4 per pill. Problem is, the pills were right there. He and I both loved taking these pills, so we would buy from ourselves, put money into the jar, take a pill, have fun. This is the extent of my drug using life. By drug, I mean pill form, not alcohol, because that's a totally different story, which was a huge life-threatening issue in my life. I will record that story later. So we had these pills, and I mentioned the pills because my girlfriend at the time, we would share the pills together as well. We would go to a party, pop one and feel really relaxed and hang out. Well, one time I took 2, and they weren't high dose. They were probably therapeutic. It's not like we're overdosing, but still, they are really bad things to take consistently. We were at a party, and I remember crunching one up and snorting it. I should put a 18 plus warning on this video, note to self. So I snorted these pills, and we're at the party, and it hits me all at once. This just wave of forced, artificial euphoria, I'll call it. A drug-induced euphoria. I got it, and all of a sudden I just was in love with everything. Everything was beautiful. Oh my God. How have I not been seeing this beauty and wonder and glory? I told my girlfriend that I loved her deeply and that I wanted to marry her. And she looks at me and says, You do as well? Oh my God, let's do it. Let's plan to get married. And I was feeling so high on life. I said, yes, let's get married. The next day, sobered up, I realized what the heck I had done, and ooh, I shut down. I was so freaking out about having confessed my undying love to this girl, but really not feeling that, realizing that I don't want to spend the rest of my life with her. After getting her hopes up, ah, yeah, I became mute again. Basically, I became mute again. I shut down, and I was a terrible person. I ignored her, neglected her. We were living together at the time. I was deathly ill with the flu, and she was taking care of me because she's an amazing, wonderful woman, and I totally just shit on her. And I feel so bad for doing this, but I was young and immature, and eventually she just gave up and left, and I just watched her drive away from the driveway and went back in the house and continued my sorry-ass life. That was a terrible breakup, and I said, you know what, I'm done dating. And that's when I met my wife, a few weeks after. I'm like, no, I'm not dating you. We're not in a relationship. We're just friends. And we became friends, and we stayed friends. And then it was like best friends. And then it was like friends with benefits. And after a while, of course, we couldn't we couldn't deny it anymore. We were in a relationship. And then eventually we got married happily ever after. So that's kind of the leading up to where I am now. I've been in a relationship happily for 8 years. Now, in this relationship and then marriage, I became an alcoholic. Remember the alcohol I told you earlier that helped me get out of the house and feel like I was being myself around other people? Well, yes, in that instance, it was a good excuse to get out, and I did get out, and I did benefit from it, and I did hang out with friends and meet new friends, and I became a person who was very sociable, and people liked me, and I was very extroverted, even though I'm not. I was putting on an extroverted front. I was the kind of I was the kind of guy who had, witty jokes and a sharp sense of humor and some intellect to boot, but that was all a show, a facade, what I wanted the world to see, because that's how I felt that people wanted me to be. So it was a mask. And now in the relationship, without having to try because I was growing complacent, I used alcohol still to try to keep up like the mask of being a person who loves life, and I just I got sucked into a hole. It started probably 5 or 6 years ago, where I would have a few drinks after work, and then it grew and grew and grew. And I'm going to go into the details of this very gripping story in a very, very future video. And by the way, I'm distracted because my amazing mom keeps texting me, and it keeps going boop, 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 boop on my phone, so I'm like trying to read it. She's designing me more bracelets, and she's going to do the trans flag colors, and I'm so excited. She's the most amazing, adorable, cute little mom. I call her my mommy bird because, of course, my wife and I love birds, and my mom loves birds, so, like, I'm Jaina bird and she's mommy bird. It's really cute. Where was I? Oh yeah, so alcohol, and it got worse, and then, of course, 6 months ago, it got really bad, and my health started failing, my liver started failing, and I almost died. But I literally sobered up in a second. My mindset shifted. I lost all craving for alcohol, and I said, I'm doing this for Jaina. I want to be healthy. I want to be sober, healthy, and I want to be the fun-loving gal without forcing it, just naturally. And that's how I've become. Like, honestly, right now in life, this is a video about me, so I'm talking about me. Right now in my life, I am the happiest no, not happy. I'm the most joyful I've ever been. There's not much happiness in my life right now because it's really stressful, but there's a lot of joy. And joy comes from within. And peace comes from within. Like, you might feel relaxed or you might feel unrelaxed, but you might feel peace whether or not those you are relaxed or not. You might feel happy, you might not feel happy, but you will always be joyful no matter if you're happy or not. And though I strive for those things, peace, joy, love, hope. You might feel grim and glim and glum, but you can still have hope despite how your brain is feeling. Separating the aspects of core personality traits, like love, hope, peace, and joy, from how you're feeling. If you separate those two things, you will have a much more fulfilled life, because we cannot always have those floaty feelings, the euphoric feelings. Okay, Mom. There you go. It's covering the view and it's distracting me. We cannot always have like the feel-good emotions, but we can have the core aspects of personality and wholeness, of well-being and wholeness. That's what I strive for. Problem is, I was using alcohol to try to get those things, and it didn't work. So right now is the first time I'm actually feeling raw and myself. You are seeing a new person. I haven't always been like this. In fact, it was only in the past few months I've been able to express myself like I'm expressing now. As I say, a miracle took place, and I now do believe in miracles, because I don't know what the hell happened in that ER, but when I decided to shift my mindset, and when my craving for alcohol just vanished, sure, I went through the withdrawal hell, but my craving vanished, and it's like, wow, I could actually enjoy life and not worry about that. I don't know what happened, but it's certainly a miracle. Okay, timestamp right here. About me practically. I work on computers. I didn't do the whole college path where I got a degree or anything. I just taught myself basic web programming languages by myself, which includes HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and then some like content management frameworks, Joomla, Drupal, more importantly, WordPress. And I've managed to do that for the past 10 years. And it started out with the very, very basic stuff where I would publish blog posts and whatnot, and then it got more complex where I did custom work. So yeah, I'm a computer nerd. I don't know if I call myself a programmer, because it's all like front-end web development, but I do a lot of programming. My highest accomplishment, or two highest, is I did an online ticket sales platform for a movie theater, and it fetched the data and dynamically output showing times and seat selection and really cool stuff like that. And then I also did data extraction for a CBD oil company, where I would pull data from the machines and output it on their website, and then have a whole user interface where people had to have a specific credential to view certain types of data. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I love doing. It's like Minecraft or Lego blocks, Lego bricks. It's like constructing stuff, but nothing too starchy and back end, because I love the visual aspect. That's why CSS is my favorite, because doing CSS and seeing things transformed as you add the CSS properties is so fulfilling. It's like peeling plastic or scratching an itch or popping a pimple. I don't really need to explain my personality, because you kind of see it. This is who I am. Now, I'm not always so talkative. I'm talkative for the camera because I am putting on my best face. But I'm pretty quiet most of the time. A lot on my mind usually. I'm an overthinker. I have a very fast brain that does not stop. It's like I have 6 different radio stations playing at all points of time in my mind. I have ADHD and executive functioning disorder, where the prefrontal cortex doesn't have as much control as I wish it had to filter thoughts, filter stimulation, making correct judgments, planning ahead, time management, organization, memory, both short and long term. I have struggled in those areas, and it's very difficult. I was diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum or you would call it high-functioning autism, where I am able to function by using my survival kit, which is masks. I put on masks for different situations, and I have multiple masks. One is like the fun-loving one. One is very intellectual and witty. One might be more romantic and poetic. All these masks, I've collected them over the years. And there's my female mask, which is my feminine expression. Now, it is arguable if that's a mask or not, or if this is just me, who I am, finally coming out. I don't know. That's the great mystery. But one thing's for sure, what you're seeing is authentic and genuine. Whether it's a mask or not, the core of who I am is coming out right now. And it comes out in all of my videos. Hobbies? I used to love games. I used to love video games. Role-playing games. Not really MMORPGs, only because I was addicted to one in my teens, and it took over my life. So I learned my lesson from that. I donated those 3 years to that MMORPG, and I said I'm not going to really play them much anymore, because I do have an addictive personality, and if something scratches an itch, it will be the primary focus of my life. I'm happily married. I'm still rediscovering my hobbies and interests and learning how to relax and have fun. Lately that's been the Nintendo Switch, and I love Mario Kart is my favorite game on there. So, yep. I honestly don't know. There's a lot of complexity to me, but all of the juicy stuff is kind of locked away in my head. That's the outgoing stuff. The physical stuff. So, yeah, I guess I kind of feel disappointed in this video because I felt it would build to this one singular moment where I would go, ta-da, that's Jaina. But you know what? I am what you see, and I am who you read. Like, if you follow my posts on Reddit, my stories, that's me. My writing, that's where the heart of me exists, in my writing. And I really, really hope to publish at least 5 books in my lifetime. I have some crazy stories, some fiction and some nonfiction. There's a series I am writing called The Deep, and it has to do with people who experience life on a deeper level, kind of like a metaphysical level. It's a psychological mindfuck, and in that story specifically, you'll be able to see it on my Just Jaina website. But that collection of stories and letters and interviews is all written as if I was writing it, because I channel my psychological, how would you put it? My dark psychological side, I guess. My mental disorders. I channel my mental disorders, my whether it's autism or ADHD or bipolar. I channel that in my writing, and I write from a first-person perspective. So if you like psychological thrillers and whatnot, I might have some writings that you would like. Okay, I'm starting to cringe at myself for how I'm stumbling through this. If you're watching this, then I decided to publish it. Thank you for watching again. Like always, I really hope my videos are entertaining to you. I hope they provide some value for your life, because you are awesome and you deserve the best and only the finest YouTube videos, and that is what I hope to offer. Alright, I will see you on the next episode of Just Jaina, in which I have no idea what I'm going to talk about next. Meow, meow, meow. Farewell. Bye.